Hello everyone, you're probably not expecting a video today, but I wanted to take a look at this because I have so many questions about this. So if you weren't aware, the whole point of like Daily Wire is like, oh hey, we're building like this conservative media thing where we're going to produce our own TV shows and we're providing an alternative to all of the woke rubbish that's on Disney Plus or Netflix or blah 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 blah, right? That's the sort of thing that Daily Wire is trying to go for. That's why they're doing like a Daily Wire Plus, and they're creating all of these TV shows. And one of these TV shows is this show in particular, Mr. Birchum. And I wanted to take a look at it. And as I said, I have so many questions about it. And I wanted to give my take on it as well, because there's been so much criticism of this, and I think it's for good reason. Because my main question about it is that who is this meant to be for, right? And I'm pretty certain, without any doubt, I am pretty certain that the target of this show is, because you can see it in some of the jokes, that it is made by boomers and it is for boomers as well. Because when you just go watch for it, I won't play the whole thing for copyright reasons, but like go watch the trailer for yourself. And I want you to tell me any point within this 1 minute 30 trailer, at any point of this, did you laugh at anything? And at any point throughout all of this, did you appreciate any of jokes? Did you kind of just smile because, yeah, there's a few conservative jokes on it and it's owning the libs and all of these things, right? So like just looking through this, like, oh wow, oh my goodness, look at that. Oh wow, look how edgy it is. And it's talking about this kid on Twitch. Then the next one, he's made fun of by a kid. I mean, I'm laughing at it now because not because the joke was funny, but I'm laughing at it because of how bad it is. Like it's just so cringeworthy. And then we just keep going through, and then oh no, this poor girl. She like, look, isn't this relatable, fellow boomers? Like all of these kids are too focused on their phones. Fellow boomers. Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. I think this was the worst part because I didn't really. I think 2 years ago, if I was like still in this space, I would have actually chuckled at this a little bit. But just looking at it now, like the joke is, oh look at these really ridiculous people trying to be inclusive, but they're actually being absolutely ridiculous, and it's just not funny, is it? So they just go through. Yeah, none of it is funny. I thought this kid was cool, Mr. Fox. I solve problems, but I don't know that this is another thing about it, which is like there's no story behind it. What is the story that this is trying to tell, or is it just like any other woke piece of rubbish, which is it's a vehicle to push the message, right? And if this show is just purely a vehicle to push the conservative message, then it's not any better than liberal media pushing their own liberal messages through the vehicle of a certain piece of media, and it's not any different from that, right? Yeah, that's kind of my perspective on it, which is it's such a cringe show, and you can just see through it. Like there's nothing to laugh about it. But then why did they make it in the first place? Well, just looking at the people who are starring in this, we've got two main ones, which are Megyn Kelly and Brett Cooper as well. I think that kind of gives you an indication as to who this is made for. Like it is definitely made for those boomers who are like boomer Republicans who are so embedded within the conservative space. All that they consume is political stuff. Like they listen to political podcasts, they tune into Fox News, they listen to everything political, right? And they don't actually have any form of they might have some form of entertainment, but all they do is complain, right? And this is not to be mean to any boomer conservatives or boomer Republicans, but this is kind of from my perspective as a zoomer, someone from Gen Z. Like this show doesn't seem to be made for the purposes of entertainment, but this show seems to be made for the purposes. And I think Jeremy Boring says here, for decades, no network would touch Adam Carolla's animated sitcom, Mr. Birchum, for fear of offending the wrong people. Fortunately, we love offending the wrong people, so on the 12th of May, Daily Wire Plus is bringing him back. That is just the perfect indication as to what the purpose of the show is. It is just for the purpose of owning the libs, maybe making a couple of boomers chuckle a little bit. This is another thing, right, which is what's conservative about it? What's Christian about it? And like nothing in this show kind of screams that, right? And this is kind of the problem with I think Daily Wire has to be very, very careful in terms of how it continues down this path, because movies should be made with a story first. kept in mind, and movies should be movies, and any piece of media, right, whether it be books, TV shows, these sorts of pieces of media should be put forward with a really good story being created first in mind, rather than pushing a message or pushing certain themes, because those will come after. Those will come as a result of the story being told. And I think if we look at some of the quote retweets from a couple of our Twitter friends, like from Urban Tree, bro, Spy Family is more right wing than this garbage. And I think it perfectly encapsulates why. Because Spy Family isn't about, like, it's not the whole purpose of Spy Family isn't to push like this pro-natalist message that, oh, you should go have children and you should go have a family. But it's throughout the story you can see how it's not the most engaging or not the most amazing story. It's about the celebration of family. Like that's what Spy Family is all about, and it's done first with a story put in mind, rather than the political message of being pro-natalist and being pro-family first in mind, if you get what I mean. And we can see how Spy Family is just so popular. It's so incredibly popular, not only in Japan but throughout the world. And it's because it's a cute story, and it's got a cute art style, and it's got good animation. It's got good animation as well. Like, Daily Wire has like fallen into the trap of using really bad, like, this is the problem with Western animation, is that all adult animation is just like this really cringe, really ugly animation that I wouldn't want to watch this, right? But if we look at Japanese animation, you can see how cute it is. You can see how good it is. And it's just like, it's enjoyable to watch. And I want to continue to watch it because it's cute and it's pleasing to the eye and it's beautiful, right? Maria Ame here made kind of the same point. And K-On! Is like this perfect encapsulation as to why we as Zoomers are more drawn to anime rather than Western animation. And the reason why is that Japanese animation and anime and all of these stories from Japan, they are focused first on a story, and they're all about the celebration of beauty. They're all about the celebration of cuteness, especially for a lot of moe shows. It's wanting to create like a good show, not only just to send a political message, but to actually create a good story. Anyway, that's kind of my main point, which is like, it's a good thing that there's now new media. There are alternative media sources, but unfortunately, like the solution to woke media and the solution to liberal media isn't to create conservative media. The solution to liberal media is create a story first, and we can see it through anime, but we can also see it through some of the Christian authors from the early 20th century, like people like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien as well, who made Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia. You can see that they weren't wanting to push a message right first. They were wanting to push the story first. And when you focus on the story first, and when you focus on crafting it so that you've got all of these elements to actually captivate an audience, you've got all of this world building to really immerse the reader through these stories, then the message can come after. Then you can implant some of the themes of pro-Christian themes and pro-family themes and all of these things that you can embed into the piece of media that you're making. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on Mr. Birchum, because as I said, it's incredibly cringe. So, and if you are wanting to look at more Twitter drama, I did do a recent video on the Catholic discourse on race mixing.